if you can post that reference, it would be very interesting to show where Peter repented. But we did open up with Peter saying that he supports Paul's view, right? That
Right.
Paul was correct. And then, of course, we've got Mojo Dude said something. Let me just try and find it. In short, Islam is threatened by truth, so Paul is an enemy. And I think that's fairly true. And then Erkin Alp Gurney says, I'm an atheist, but thanks anyway. Hey, dude, no problem. I mean, yeah, it's just that, look, there are many anti-theists, not just atheists. There are anti-theists, people who are virulently anti-Christian. So that's a slightly different breed of atheist, right? For a while, I was an atheist. There was a time I had no idea what to believe, but eventually, as I got older, I kind of came back to the church, back to Christian beliefs. Now, I'm certainly no missionary, and I don't think I'm an evangelist, um, but I certainly do believe that we have a a body of beliefs that is worth protecting and a body of values worth protecting. And I know Islam backwards, so yeah, I think we have the superior ideas, the superior beliefs, and Muhammad doesn't offer what Christ offers us. It's that simple. Um, yeah, so let's continue. If you can also monitor the chat, Truth, then I can, in case I miss anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Pinpoint actually said, "Why do Muslims love to hate? Is Islam telling them to hate?"
Yes, it does, precisely. So Muslims are following a doctrine called Alwala al-bara. Okay, it is translation to English as loyalty and disavowal. The scholar that you would read, the modern scholar that will give you the best understanding of it, who's written about it at length, is a man called Fawzan, Fawzan. Fawzan. His writings are probably the most detailed on that. But basically, loyalty and disavowal means to love Allah, Muhammad, and the Muslims, the fellow Muslims, and to hate the non Muslims, because Allah is a God who hates. So they are required to hate. Now, this doctrine would fall under another body of doctrine, the major. Okay, the the most important verse in the Quran is Quran 3:104. Now they're not going to come out and tell you this, but have a look at Quran 3:104. This formulates the most important doctrine in Islam, which is the doctrine of commanding the right and forbidding the wrong. We are wrong, they are right. They have
Hmm.
to, commanding the right means to enforce the Sharia, and forbidding the wrong means to forbid anything that goes against the Sharia. Christianity goes against the Sharia. So yes, they are taught to hate. Remember, they have to slay them wherever you find them, etc. But they have to have loyalty to their cause, loyalty to their deen, and they have to hate the non-Muslim. I have covered this in other shows, but yes, they are specifically taught to hate us. Hopefully that answers, and that's something I can cover at length at another time. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just going to add on to that, just from a biblical perspective. And I've done a couple of videos on this, but Allah is typically no better than the pagans and the tax collectors, according to Jesus' own words. So if you open up to the Sermon on the Mount, chapter 5 in Matthew, you'll read in verse 46 and on. It says, for if you love those who love you, what reward do you have? So
Yes.
Muslims are commanded to only love those who love them, and they're also commanded to hate those who hate them. But Jesus is actually saying that Christians are supposed to be better than that, and in fact, that's because God is better than that. So he says, do not even the tax collectors do the same? And if you greet only your brothers, what more are you doing than others? Do not even the Gentiles do the same? Therefore, you must be perfect like your heavenly Father is perfect. So I just think it's
Excellent.
really neat to kind of emphasize those types of things, um, as well, right?